Hello class. Congratulations to all of you who are watching this video. So you have made all the way to the last week. Okay, so this video is the first video lecture in week 5. It is also the last video lecture on array. Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to search an array. So given an array, let's see, given an array of numbers, how can we write code to decide whether the array contains a particular element. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm going to demonstrate how we can debug. So if there are some errors in our code, how can we do step-by-step debug? So actually, debugging is a very useful technique, particularly when if you are very interested in programming and you want to do some real thing, okay, to build your own system. So it is very critical. As a programmer, you know how to debug. Okay, so okay, now let's start today's lecture. First of all, we need to define a new method which can be called to search a given array for a particular value. So basically, it takes two parameters. The first one is the array you like to search in. The second one is the target value or the target element you would like to search. So I'm going to go ahead just show you the code. So public static, excuse me, and so let's see if we can find an element, the target element in the array. We're going to return its index. We want to return the position where the target element is at. If not, we simply just return -1. So -1 here is just a number, a special number, indicating the element you're trying to look, to search for is not in the array. Okay, so since we're going to return the index or -1, so we want the return value tab to be int. Okay, so and the method name, you can name the method search array. Okay, as I mentioned, we need this method to take 2 parameters. The first parameter is the array you would like to search in. So to declare an array type parameter, you have to specify first the type of the array, followed by square brackets. And then you give the formal parameter name. Okay, let's just name it a list, okay, to be generic. And then you have to pass the target value. Okay, so which value you would like to search for. Okay, so since we're going to take in integer array, the target value will be type int. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead just to implement it. So as we have already discussed, we often use a loop when processing array data, right? So here we will do the same thing. We're gonna use a for loop to loop over all the elements in the array, and for each element we're going to compare it to the target value. So if like they are equal, we simply return its index. Otherwise, if we have finished looping over all the elements without finding any match, we simply just return -1 at the end. Okay, so basically the like the algorithm can be described as you can see you can loop over all elements to find a match with value. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just implement it. Okay, so some of you may like attempt to use the for each syntax, like for int a colon the name of the array, but this, like in this scenario, we need to keep, like we need to get the index if a match is found. Okay, so like that for each syntax is not applicable here. So let's see, let's declare I, and here I is less than list.length. Okay, so we need to go over all the elements and I plus plus. So here for each element, we need to compare it. Like here for each element, we use list I to represent each and every element one after another, right? Starting from the first one. We're going to compare it to the target value. So if they are equal, which means we got a match. Okay, so if that's the case, we simply just return I. Here I is used to indicate its index. Okay, I is used to indicate its index. So if a match is found, we can stop there. Okay, we don't need to keep processing for the rest. As long as the first match is found, we can simply return like its index. Here we don't need to take care else. Okay, so like else, if like this one element is not equal to target value, we don't need to do anything. It's just go to the next element, move on to the next element and compare. Okay, so there's no need to have the else branch here. So at last, so let's see if we have compared all the elements with the target value and without any success. So then the for loop will be terminated when I reaches list.length. So basically when it reaches the end of the array, then we can simply just return -1. Okay, so that's a complete implementation for the method SearchArray. Okay, next let's see how we can call this method to to search a particular value in a given array. So I have already created an array, an integer array number list. I give it like some initial values. Let's see. Let's try to call it. Since it is like a returning value method, it returns like the index. We need to declare a variable like index to hold the return value. Okay, then we call search array. Then here we pass the parameters. So let's say the first parameter is an array, right? We want to pass number list here. Okay, so here I would like to emphasize, when you call the method and like to pass an array to a method, you here for the argument you only need to specify its name. Okay, there's no need to put a type there, no need to have square brackets there. Okay, so it's just you just like provide the name of the array like so. Okay, so but if you're talking about a formal parameter in the method header, you have to do something like this, as in the same way as you declare an array variable. And also you don't need to specify its length. Okay, you just have have the empty like square bracket. Okay, so which number do you want to search? Let's see. First, let's try to search 10. Okay, since 10 is one of the numbers in the array. Okay, so just for display, we can just print out some messages. System dot print line the index s. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. Index 3, like 10, seems like 10 is in this array. Okay, let's try to search for a value that's not in the array. Okay, so like index is -1. So here usually like the return value, you can take advantage of a return value. Like if like index is not equal to -1, like you can do something. Let's see. You can just like the number has been found at position else we can we can print out something like the number you are looking for is not in the array. Okay, something like this. Okay, in many cases, you need to proceed based on like the return value. Okay, you want to deal with different cases based on the value of like the return from calling this method, something like this.